I gotta be honest with you. Why the did we even run the Phoenix race? We should have just handed it to my boy Zillage.
This is deceptive business practices by NASCAR.
And those that got a little nuts and going to let them hang a little bit are going to push that pedal harder and go to the front. Give them horsepower.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers. My name is Chad Beard, and I'm a country music artist, content creator, and NASCAR superfan. Joined as always by, well, at least one of my illustrious co-hosts. Allow me to introduce him to you. He's the only man in NASCAR who can operate and coordinate a VIP experience, predict race strategy, and make a shampoo commercial jealous, all before the green flag drops. From the great state of Ohio, he's the Haas Factory team's favorite ambassador and our resident hair icon. Give it up for the follicle phenom, Rick Kojan. What's up, Rick?
OHIO, how y'all doing? And thank you for that lovely intro. And wow, I'm now a hair icon.
You knew that before you got here.
I didn't know that. I've begun to embrace follicle phenom, but hair icon. Thank you.
Listen, when you walk up and down pit road, people turn and they address your hair.
They don't.
Oh, they do. They do, and you know it.
I'll tell you what they do though, and I hate when you have to say do. What they do is, like, the hair is known. There's no question about it. It's just because it stands out, because you got some old fat dude rolling with this long hair, and it's like, whatever. It's become my Steven Seagal source of energy.
Steven Seagal energy.
Yeah, don't you remember when he had that? He had this ponytail, and they called it some sort of like his chi, or CHI chi. It was like his something.
Yes, I remember. I'm not sure that our guest tonight will, because
he doesn't.
He probably wasn't alive.
Who's that actor and what movies
Steven
did he make?
Seagal was in anything. But also, let's just address the person not in the room.
I was going to say, don't call him an elephant.
Yeah,
an elephant. There's an elephant not in the room.
Our guy, Supreme Court Justice here, is on location. He's in Greenville, South Carolina, with his home run.
He got his court times confused.
Yeah, his docket is quite full.
It is.
And he's with a home run hitter down there, doing some baseball stuff. So he told us to move forward here, and we're excited to talk to our guest tonight. So, with no further ado, let's bring him in. How about it, Ricky?
Come on after it.
If you're wondering whether racing is in his blood, let's just say family reunions probably involve lap times, tire pressures, and at least one argument about who would have won at Bristol. He's young, talented, and still at the stage of his career where he thinks sleeping in hotels and eating gas station food is fun. Welcome to the show. Driver of the number 87 Chevrolet, Austin Green, is in the house.
Hell yeah.
What's happening, Austin?
It's getting ready to leave in the morning for San Diego, and I'm staying out there in between San Diego and Sonoma, so I guess I got to pack pretty heavy.
Yeah, I'm super jealous. This was the one race that I said all year that I wanted to be at, I wanted to go to, and I'm not. I will be watching all these races on TV. The upside is I get to be here at my farm in Alabama. My kids will be here this weekend, so
your estate. That's Bearden Estate on a road named after your family. True or false?
That's true.
Thank you.
Anyways, I get to hang out with my kids. I get to watch the races with them, so that'll be fun. I will take that. So excited about it. My little guy, I have a 7-year-old who absolutely loves NASCAR, and he's super excited to watch NASCAR on an active military base. So it will be super
So are
cool.
we.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that goes. Have you been doing any sim work for this?
A lot, a lot. Obviously, with it being a brand new track for everybody, kind of like a street course. A couple corners are very similar to Chicago. Um, yeah, I know iRacing just got it the other week. I think last week or something. So obviously at home running a bunch of that, but then I know the OEMs got it 3 weeks ago, maybe. So whenever they got it, I mean, I've probably been preparing for it for I want to say 3 weeks now. Like whenever the OEMs got it, that's when I would try to get some time. And um, yeah, Lord knows how many laps I have around there virtually. So we'll see Friday during practice and stuff how it kind of translates. Obviously, it's very bumpy. Um, you know, like street course type, no runoff, so margin for errors 0. But obviously in the sim, if you wreck, you just hit reset. So um, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's obviously very tricky, very technical, very bumpy. But like you said, it's an active military base, so I think it's pretty neat. The visuals are pretty cool. All the planes, helicopters, and aircraft carriers and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, we can continue to go back, and it's not just a 1 year deal.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So let's go back and kind of for anybody who is not familiar with you and your story. Essentially, you were born into racing. Your dad is a former Busch Series champion. Your uncle was also a NASCAR driver. So you were literally born into this. What is the first thing that you got into to race? How old were you? And what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I really don't remember a time without racing. Like you said, obviously, my dad and two uncles they raced. My mom worked in racing. She was Mark Martin's PR lady for however many years. My sister now works in racing. I'm racing. Dad's still working. So yeah, it's just a family ordeal. And then obviously my cousin, or both my cousins. One of them, Tyler, he's a spotter for Hocevar on Sundays, and then Sammy Smith on Saturdays. And then my cousin Rachel, she works with Bruton Smith over at Charlotte. So yeah, I honestly think the first racing memory was probably just running a little kid card at Charlotte on the little road course back there. You know, just figuring it out. I started at 4, um, which I think on the paperwork I was 5 because you had to be 5 to do that stuff. But there's got to be like a statute of limitations on it, right? I think that might.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll get in trouble now. But started at 4 and then did some go kart stuff. Then worked up to Bandoleros and then legend cars and then late models. And then I think it was 2018. I did a limited schedule of late models with Lee Falk, and then I graduated high school in 19. And looking back on it, it all kind of worked itself out in the moment. It was unfortunate, but in 19 didn't have any sponsorship. So graduated high school, applied for certain colleges. Um, I guess my SAT scores weren't as good, so I didn't initially get into the two that I kind of wanted to go to. So in 19, I went to community college, and then
What were the two you wanted to get into?
obviously Charlotte because that was kind of convenient. It's right down the road.
UNC, sure. They turn out a
UNCC.
lot of
Yeah.
engineers, right?
UNCC,
UNCC. Yeah.
Yeah.
UNCC, yeah. And then I applied to App State
Oh,
because I had never really been to the mountains before, and I was like, that. be pretty cool and small town. So I didn't initially get in. Like I said, I think my SAT scores were too low. But then I found it was easier to get in as a transfer. So I went to community college, I think for a semester. And then fall 2020 was my um, first semester at App. And then same with 2020, didn't have any sponsorship. So unfortunately didn't race again. Um, and I think mom and dad kind of, sat me down and was like, it's a little momentary break. So go to school, get a degree. The racing stuff will work itself out.
Plus, you're in the middle of COVID. If it was 2020, that's a pain in
And
the
COVID,
ass.
yeah,
You know,
that was odd.
you know.
So yeah, did 4 years there, and then uh, I mean we can get into the kind of the TA2 stuff and how that whole kind of came about, and then that snowballed, and then I met Mr. Peterson, and then now I'm here, and so yeah, I think that's definitely something I think people don't really know about me.
Yeah, and
Went
probably,
through-
people would assume with your background, with with your family name, with your connections, like sponsorship would come really easy, right? Hey, your dad ran a Caterpillar car, he ran a Slim Jim car. Why can't, if you're David Greenson's why is his sponsors not sponsoring you, or why?
Or that David Green, his father, feathered the bed, like
Right,
other examples are made of like Logano, and I know his father wasn't in racing, but obviously Chase Elliott, et cetera, et cetera.
right. And so the most perception is sponsorship would come easy for you, or that they would be able to front the bill for you, or whatever that looks like. And obviously that's not the case here, right?
Yeah, no. Obviously, I think for most of my career, running go karts, Bandoleros, Legends, late models, it was all internally funded.
Which
Couple
is
small,
not cheap either.
no, 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 no. And then obviously, as we all know, the higher you get, the more expensive it becomes. And um, yeah, I think the late model stuff was the next year. It kind of came to a crossroads where you needed to find a sponsorship, and it just wasn't the right timing. So that's why I said in the moment it was unfortunate, but looking back on it, it all kind of played out and worked itself out because I got to kind of step away from the racing scene as much as I hated it, and graduate high school, go to or start college, um, and then, like I said, yeah, I started in 2020 at App, COVID. That was interesting. And then did the 4 years, got a degree in business. Well, I initially started with architecture because I thought, the designing part would be cool. So I did that for my first year, and then once I got into the physics, I was not
See
good
you
at that.
later.
Not good. I think I made it like 2 weeks,
See you later.
and then I changed my major to business. So, um, yeah, did the 4 years, got a degree, and in 21 was my first race back, I guess, since 2018 with TA2. Um, and then, like I said, that kind of snowballed, and yeah, like at the end there, I think my Xfinity debut was 2024. I
So
think it was,
so let me ask you this: the whole time that you're away from being at the track, are you doing any sim work? Are you doing any, like, are you iRacing? Are you doing any of that stuff? Or are you just completely away from racing?
yeah. I had iRacing at home, so whenever I would come home from Boone, obviously I would do that, and obviously watch races. I'd go to the ones that are close. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a little culture shift for a couple years there.
So so you go into the Trans Am world. What kind of shift is that? That's, I'm assuming that's a different kind of car than you had ever driven before. How does that opportunity come about? And what is it like driving that car versus driving the late model that you'd been in previously?
And what is it under? Is that under IMSA WeatherTech or is it what's it under? Where
I
because you keep
think,
saying TA2,
yeah. So there's Trans Am, so there's
right?
TA1,
Correct.
and then there's TA2. Um, I want to say Trans Am's owned by NASCAR now.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I,
Um, but it's very similar. I think chassis wise is very similar to a late model, like straight rail late model. Um, comparing it to an Xfinity car, or I guess both a late model, it's light. It just has more downforce, has a wing on it. Um, but I had never really done any road course racing other than the winter heat with legend cars. So in a big full size car, that was really the first road course experience I got, and it really all stemmed from a go karting trip. So Sam Mayer and I are good buddies, and our families are close. So that was 21. I want to say it was like the sixth year of doing this karting trip. We would go up to Wisconsin, where they live, and they have a go kart track at their house, and then there's another buddy of theirs that has a track at his house. So it would just be this whole summertime karting trip, just hanging out, having fun. And I think that year Sam was running both TA2 and Xfinity at the time, and he was running with Scott Lagacy, and his dad, Scott Mayer, helped me get into a TA2 car. I guess just so I wasn't sitting on the sidelines and watching. Um, so that was that, and I think we ran like fifth or sixth maybe, and then or qualified fifth or sixth, and then had a electrical issue. Um, and then didn't run anything the rest of 21. Came back that same race, Road America in 22. Qualified outside pole and ran good. I can't remember where we finished, but that was the weekend I met Mr. Peterson. And lo and behold, later in November, I ran with Peterson at Coda. And, at the time, still in college, right? At the time, didn't know if I would get a call back or what. Yeah, and they called me in January, um, asking if I wanted to run full time with them in 2023 in the TA2 stuff, and I said obviously, absolutely. But the funny part of that story was I was sitting in class, and it was like the first or second week back or something, and got a call from one of the guys at the team, and I was like, "Oh, I got to take this." So I just walked out,
Love it.
and I got in. Well, I probably got just like slapped on the hand, but I got in trouble because I left in the middle of her lecture. Um, but
It was
I
an
mean,
important call. How do they know it wasn't a family fucking emergency?
I
I
just
mean,
told her
freaking emergency. Sorry,
it
Chad.
was a important call.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
said,
Family emergency. There's nothing else to say about it. Done.
"Yeah, oh well, it's fine. It all worked out." So, um, yeah, did full time TA2 with Peterson in 23, and then at the end of 23, Mr. Peterson was like, "We're gonna run some Xfinity stuff." I was like, "No way." So 24 ran part time TA2, and then I think we did all the road courses on the Xfinity side, and then 25 we did all the road courses and I think a couple short tracks, mile and a halfs for the Xfinity stuff, and then 26 he said he wanted to go full time, and now we're here. So yeah, like I said, it all just kind of stemmed from an annual go kart trip, just a fun weekend.
And you ended up picking up a win in Charlotte, right? Was that TA2? Was that ARCA? What was that?
That was ARCA with Pinnacle Racing, PRG.
Gotcha. So you've been in O'Reilly for a couple of years now, and you're starting to see some growth. You guys have you are, this is your first full-time season, right? So you're a rookie team, rookie driver in the O'Reilly series. You have an alliance with RCR, right? But you're based in Raleigh. So there's some distance between, for people who don't know, most race teams are somewhere around the Charlotte area. RCR is a
Thank you,
little,
super fan. Thank you.
I'm talking to our listener.
Thank you,
Who,
super fan.
RCR is a little further out there in Welcome, North Carolina, which is about an hour outside of Charlotte. But Raleigh is 2 hours from Charlotte, and how far from Welcome? Probably
Probably an hour and a half,
an
maybe,
hour and a
I
half.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that work? How does the information get from RCR to you guys? Do you How much time do y'all spend with the RCR guys?
Yeah, it's definitely like you said. Obviously, the distance makes it a little more complicated, but RCR has been great. Um, Obviously, working with us for, like you said, the first full time year, and myself. Obviously, all the resources are there that they're providing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, they've been a great tool to lean on. Whether it's Austin or Jesse, um, even like the team meetings. Viking is a alliance. The Jordan Anderson crowd is an alliance as well. So I've always kind of found, it's interesting to see what I fought versus what the two or the 21 fought or the Viking cars fought. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of nice to ping ideas off of each other, and hopefully we can have success this weekend at San Diego and then next week at Sonoma.
Yeah. To get in the weeds just a little bit. Now, are you guys running RCR, ECR engines, or are you building those in-house?
Yes, ECR, running ECR engines.
I like it. Um, so you've had some decent success this year. I would say that, especially for a rookie team, rookie driver, I would say that you are performing at or above expectations. Ricky, you feel free to chime in, but um, you've had some tough weeks where you've kind of got collected in other people's stuff, which a lot of times happens when you're kind of running that mid pack. It's really easy to get caught up in a lot of people's stuff, but uh, it's been exciting this year to watch you and kind of see that progression, and see you kind of work week in, week out, getting better and progressing through. Um, Another thing that is kind of funny to me is that you kind of get labeled as a road course ringer because you come from this Trans Am background, or the TA2 background, which is kind of the same as, Connor Zillage and Brent Cruz. Those guys came from that background as well, who are excellent road course racers too. But you have found success on the ovals, and those guys have as well. So it cracks me up that you kind of get pigeonholed as like this road course guy, because you're running just as well on the ovals as you are the road course. So how does that make you feel, or what are your thoughts when people say, "Oh, he's the road course ringer"?
Yeah. Obviously, we've had better success on the road course side because the team is their background is road course racing, and
That's
um,
fair.
but yeah, whenever I kind of hear that, it's like, I mean, the first really road course stuff I did was like 2023 when we went full time in TA2. I grew up doing ovals and short tracks, obviously the mile and a halfs and super speedways and all that. That's new. But yeah, I mean, I really didn't have a road course background per se. But like you said, in 23 it was myself, Zilich, Cruz, Connor Mozak, uh, can't remember who else, but yeah, it's just like all we were all running together, and then now we're all in the NASCAR scene. So um, I don't know. I think that series definitely teaches you. Although the cars are very different, it's still a heavy stock car on a road course. So um, going to certain places, just kind of learning the technicality of the road course side of things. I think you just kind of get a leg up on everybody else. But I think a lot of now that there's more road courses than there used to be back in the day, I think the bar has kind of been set a bit higher. Um, a lot of people are getting a lot better, so it's definitely more difficult than it used to be back in the day. But I don't know. Hopefully, like you said, I won the Charlotte race with Arca, but hopefully I can maybe win on an oval in O'Reilly and kind of break that road ringer spell.
Well, and I think that it's inevitable that it's going to happen. Um, you and I have talked about in the past this TA2 pipeline, and I asked you, I said, it seems like the past couple of years because we've seen the Zillage, we've seen the Brent Cruz, we've seen you, we've seen the Connor Mozaks and these guys. Like I don't remember ever before where we were ever hearing the Trans Am racing so much. And now it just seems like it's this huge pipeline for NASCAR drivers and for essentially the future of the sport. Seems like every new prospect is coming through that series. What do you think it is about that series that is producing this caliber of drivers that we're seeing?
Um, I think a lot of it is just kind of fine tuning your craft and your finesse. Like the rules in TA2 are, it's kind of like gentleman racing. And kind of the way the bodies are, it's not like a rally car where you have that bumper bar and you can just move the guy in front of you and you'll get a scratch. If you do that, you'll just cave the whole front end in. So then also if you make contact, you get a penalty. So I think kind of learning
Car control.
car control and learning
100%.
how to outbrake
100%.
somebody, or
Yep.
I guess mainly passing somebody without making contact.
Yeah. Without roughing them
Um,
up. 100%.
and I think a lot of like the TA2 guys, and obviously SVG is really good, and Allmendinger, um, kind of where the road course guys have a leg up is the braking. Um, you go to an oval and you're maybe using 300-400 pounds of pressure. You go to a road course, you need to use 1,100-1,200 pounds of pressure. Um, so I think like at Sonoma last year, we got a penalty at the beginning of stage three. So I had to start last, and of course there was no cautions. And yeah, I mean that place is a little tough to pass, but just pull out and outbrake somebody, and then you're there. So I think that's kind of where the road course guys have a leg up, is just under braking.
And how does that translate on ovals, you think? Because you
Um,
guys are having success on ovals. We saw Zillage rip off what 10 wins last year, and a lot of those were on ovals. We've not seen Brent win yet, but we're going to. Or did he get a win earlier this year? Anyways,
Cruz.
yeah, no, but he's up front every week. You're having success. The one thing that I will say to is, um, in the comparison there, I know it's easy to compare whatever, and people can say, well, why is this kid not, maybe not having the number wise success that Zillage or Cruz is having out of the gate or whatever. Um, number one, those guys are walking into established teams, right? Teams that have been doing this for a very long time. And this is not a knock on Peterson at all. Like, I think number one, kudos and super impressive that they would make the jump from the TA2 series to O'Reilly, and that you guys would do it together, and that they would say, "Hey, we want you to be our guy to do, we want to make this jump together with you." And but again, brand new team, brand new cars, brand new crew chief, and essentially you guys are just figuring this out, right? So you're not walking into an established organization. You're not walking into proven equipment. You're not walking into the same system those guys are. So it's not, we're not comparing apples to apples as far as equipment, knowledge, playbook. Um, you know, those guys are not having to work off an alliance and have their information come from somebody else. They're the people that the information is coming from. So I think once those things get figured out, you're going to see that same kind of stuff from you. You've proven you have the talent. You've proven you have the skill that's going to be there. But so how do those skills that you guys learned and mastered in that series translate to the ovals?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of it is just, um, with me being a first time driver or first time crew chief, first time team, you know, you're going up against teams that have years or decades of experience in the notebook. So when we go to track for the first time, where it's the first time for everybody, you're really just starting at ground zero. Um, and I've always kind of obviously the RCR Alliance helps tremendously. And they've helped out in more ways than one. Um, but yeah, it's just I felt like I always feel like at the end of the race, we figure it out, and um, but then that's with just the most seat time and most laps. Um, so yeah, it's just a big learning curve, and um, you know, like you said, obviously the finishes that we've had haven't been great this year, but I kind of look at how we were running before something happened or we would get into a wreck, and um, I felt like for the better part of the year we were kind of around the 15th range, which I thought was pretty decent, especially for the times that we've never been to a track before. Um, yeah, there's just so much that goes into it, and obviously, the team's getting as much help from RCR as they can, and I'm doing the same, whether it's RCR or talking to other drivers or Cup guys or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to fight against the JRMs and the JGRs and Haas and Hendrick and all these guys that have so much experience.
So I want to address something that obviously is going on right now,
That Chris
and
has joined the podcast. Is that
well,
what you want to address?
there's that.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Chris,
Is that was the elephant
please,
in the
yeah,
room?
yeah, please rise. The Supreme Court justice has entered.
He has cleared his docket.
Yes,
Is
I apologize, fellas.
the
Holy smokes.
the
It's all right.
the bailiff made way. The
Oh my
justice has entered the
goodness.
room. Um, no.
Held
So
myself in contempt.
You are in contempt of court this time. Sentencing to follow. We'll see.
all right, so it was announced a few weeks ago that by the team that Nick Sanchez was going to get in your car for a few weeks. He was going to do a four race deal. You would still be with the team. You still travel to the track. First of all, I want to applaud you for the way that you have handled yourself during all that. The way you show up, you put on a headset, you you're there to give information, you're there to learn, um, and kind of how you've approached it. I'll let you address that and address um, why you were told that happened, why that's going on, how that's working, and like how that makes you feel. I mean, obviously, you never want to see somebody else driving your car, but what were you told was the purpose of that? and what is the plan moving forward with that?
Yeah, got the call from the owner, and um, you know, big picture, they want to, hopefully do two cars next year. Um, so having Nick come in, he has more experience. I mean, that's, fair to say he's been running a lot longer than I have. And just for him to come in and get a second opinion on what the car's doing. And um, yeah, I mean, I was definitely disappointed. Um, but, obviously you got to look big picture, and obviously I'm still a part of the team. Um, so, to continue to go to those races and help out any way I can is obviously going to pay dividends long run for everybody involved. So yeah, I think just, yeah, as much as it kind of stung to at Pocono last week to see the yellow 87 go by. Um, I don't know. I just always kind of think big picture, and if this is going to make us better and the team better for the long run, then that's just what it's going to have to be. So um, yeah, obviously the main focus now is just going out and trying to do as best as I can, and hopefully, hopefully we can get a win one of these two road courses. We'll see, but yeah, just trying to do the best I can.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that's an easy task, but um, like I said, I think you've handled that with as much grace and professionalism as anybody could, um, especially knowing that you're essentially bouncing back and forth into the car and out of the car in between those races. What are those team meetings like? What was the team meeting like this week after Pocono? Are both of you guys in the team meeting? Are you both debriefing? What's the information flow like?
Yeah, we debriefed after post race after Pocono. Um, I was there Monday at the RCR meeting with the engineer, and crew chief Jody was on the call as well. So yeah, like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's interesting to see what we fought or what he fought for that race compared to obviously the house cars, the 2 and the 21, and then the Alliance cars as well. So um, I don't know, just always take notes, and thankfully there's multiple tracks that we go back to. So um, I think taking detailed notes and listening, and um, kind of trying to build a whole sheet of experience for the second time you go back there, and then kind of see how that translates.
Yeah, because fortunately we're rolling to the second part of the season now where we're about to repeat some of those tracks that you have been to for the first time. So, we're about to go back to Atlanta and Daytona and Talladega and a lot of those repeat tracks, Martinsville, um, and hopefully you can apply those things that you learned in the first race. All right, I'm gonna let the official note taker. Ricky is the best note taker ever.
Jesus.
He always
I didn't
has
think
some
you
great
were ever going to
questions.
stop. You were on a roll. I thought you two were falling in love. That was nice.
My gosh, go
You
ahead,
okay?
Ricky. I'm
You
good.
okay?
Go ahead, Ricky.
Didn't take long, Justice, for him to start getting aggravated with me. Thank
Listen,
God you joined now.
yeah, I got to mediate this relationship.
Austin Green. Man, I got a lot of questions for you. I learned a lot of things there too. I got to be honest with you. First of all, are you going to be part of the all driver signing for the fans this weekend in San Diego?
Like the autograph session?
Yes,
Yes, I'll be
you
there.
are. Okay, good move. That's cool. Because usually, I think at Pocono was pretty shy. Like there was only, I don't know, maybe 13. I mean, we always have Sam, we always have Sheldon those. And I just think for being in this series, those are like something that you should earmark and you should always be part of them. So I'm glad to hear you'll be there. That's cool. Come down. Sam usually sits, as you probably know, Sam usually sits by William. So come on down and sit by us, and that'll be
Absolutely.
cool. Um, I want to talk quickly about the OEM sim that you said Chevy got about 3 weeks ago. And again, for our thousands of followers, which is really like 10, um, iRacing is one thing, but the sim at the manufacturer is quite another. So I was surprised when you said, because I thought that time is pretty tough to get. I was surprised that you got to be honest, on a smaller team like Peterson, how many shots have you had at the big dog Chevy sim for San Diego in 3 weeks? What have you had?
A majority of it has been at RCR on their static sim.
Ah, okay,
Um, Obviously, I try to use that as religiously as I could.
for sure.
Um, Earlier today, actually, I was over at PME running their motion rig.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, uh, I don't even know how many laps. I want to say each session at RCR was 70 to 80 laps, maybe. I'd
Yeah.
say probably 300 laps
Yeah.
total.
But but
Um,
but you also have another job that involves sim, right?
uh, yeah, I'd say so. I do a lot of the sim work for GM on their wheel force side.
Yeah.
So we haven't done San Diego for the wheel force stuff yet, but um, yeah, obviously sim time is sim time. So
Yep.
I'm gonna go to those places at one point in my career, hopefully. So
Yeah,
no
the
matter
GM
what,
one though is like that's the big dog, full motion, like
right?
with computer banks, like towers that manage it for full motion, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And
that
it,
one.
and you're
That one.
running cup on that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just think that like, when you come into a situation like this where you've never been on the track and we've got that practice coming up, so I'm sure you're looking forward to it just like we are. I'm sure you've heard everything that we've heard, which is extremely rough, extremely rough. And it's interesting that you've put in so many laps, which is good because the other comment that I heard is for 3.4 miles and 16 turns, unlike Mexico, and forgive me, I don't know if you raced in Mexico City, but
Mhm.
I heard that like in 2 laps in Mexico City, just because of the layout and the topography and things you could see, you knew where you were on the track. I heard that San Diego, a lot of turns look alike, and it like you don't really know where the F. See, I didn't say it, Chad. Where the F you are on the track. Is that accurate?
Yes, in the beginning when I was still learning the track,
Yep.
there's a lot of corners where you're facing it, and visually it looks like it could go either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thankfully, they have, the concrete barriers in front of it have arrows kind of pointing to that direction. Now, I mean, I know which one.
Sure.
But yeah, in the beginning, it was definitely tough because you go into it and you don't really know if it's a left or right, or there is two corners that look very similar on entry. One has a barrier, one doesn't. So that was just kind of tough. But like I said, I mean, it didn't matter if it was an O'Reilly car or running the Cup car there with the GM. Um, just laps or laps. And
Yep.
obviously, it's going to be a little different when you get there in person.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that's why I tried to prepare as early as possible because I know it's very tough to get sim time and or quality sim time.
Of course.
So yeah, just try to prepare as soon as possible and run as many laps as I could. And like I said, thankfully I know where to go now, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there.
And is this race, am I wrong in that you have to run or you can only run your whatever your full-time series is. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. You cannot get extra practice by being multi-series, which is why Zilich and SVG are not in this
Oh,
O'Reilly
right.
race, which is why there is opportunity at hand for Austin Green, Sam Mayer, people like Brent Cruz. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't care. Austin Green, I'm sorry. I called you a road course ringer. I called him this last year, though. It was
That
last year, not this year.
that's fair.
Go back and look at all of our podcasts and the millions of viewers that we have now. We're up to 1 million. And one time I made one of my checkers, wreckers, and heckers. I know I did this. I made one of my checkers Austin Green. And the two
What
of you sat
Watkins
there,
Glen, Watkins Glen last
the
year.
two of you sat there and listened to me. And because I went back through J Ski and I'm like, the fuck is up with this kid in this 87 car? And I'm like, road cars. And this is when, when the series didn't get old babyish, we got too many road courses. And it was like top 15, top 10, 11th, top. Like, dude, I saw that. I want to give you credit for that. And I got to be honest with you. Don't shy away from being a road course ringer. Be like, fuck off, man. I'm in the seat. You're not. Am I more than a road course ringer? Sure, I am. Give me the opportunity. But road course ringer puts your name up there and you're running in those top positions. Dude, that's something to applaud. And the fact that we're going to two of them in a row, I think Austin Green's got, you say 15, and I know you were saying that in generalization. There's opportunity for two top tens for you right here. And you know that.
Well, and I think to his point too, I didn't really think about it before, is it's more so the team is a road course ringer because that's what the team is set up to do.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, the fact that you only began, to learn that craft or hone that craft in TA2 in 2023, well, dude, then you're a quick study.
100%.
So hell yeah, right? And then my very last thing, I think it's really interesting that Scott Mayer helped you get into that TA2 car to begin. And then you said you and Sam Mayer are good buddies. I did not know that. I'm Sam Mayer's account executive. And I got to tell you, I have the most fun, and I'm saying it here on the podcast. I have the most fun on a race weekend on Saturday being Sam Mayer's account executive because he is my fucking guy. So I'm glad to hear that.
There you go.
That's all I got, Chad. That wasn't too bad, right?
No, Justice, you got questions?
No, I'm just going to apologize for all of our million viewers for being late to the
A
party.
million viewers. I love
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I got to apologize to Austin. We tapped in there earlier. I was unprepared. I apologize for not, showing up to my own podcast on time.
I'll let it slide this time.
I
There you
appreciate it,
go.
brother. Thank
That's
you.
it. Pin him to the wall.
I'm
But
kidding.
don't burn that bridge because he's from the rich side of the tracks at Hendrick.
Oh, stop.
Oh, come on. I like when you hug me on pit road at Pocono. You got that big Hendrick Motorsports and everyone could see me. And I'm like, that's right. I know a guy at Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, we're the alliance team there.
Yeah. He'll outrun our ass later, but whatever. He's a good buddy of mine.
Listen, we're friends on and off the track. Don't you
I
forget it.
got you.
Um, so tell us about the sim work that you were doing. That's what I wanted to get into next. So explain the GM sim work that you're doing. How did you get into that, and what all does that entail?
So small. Well, I guess I should say small world. So I was running. I can't remember what year I did it. 2024 maybe was my first South Carolina 400 late model race with Matt Piercy, and NASCAR season was done. I was like, still want to run something, so got the sponsorship for that, ran that, and I think we did pretty decent. Then we got wrecked. Came back 25, ran the 400 again down at Florence. But I think after that 24 race, Matt Piercy and Zach Brown with GM are buddies, and I guess Zach, needed an extra driver for a sim session, and Matt threw my name out, and went for a session, and I guess I did everything right, or did everything that they wanted me to do, and yeah, they just kept kind of having me back. So I know Allgaier does a lot of it. I know he drives the actual wheel force car. I want to say Alfredo does a good bit. Um, but yeah, usually it all just kind of stemmed from running that late model race with Matt Piercy and all that. So I like it. Like I said, it's obviously a good tool because some tracks I've already been to or new tracks I haven't been to, and hopefully one day I'm going to go there. So as hard as it is to kind of get some time or quality some time, I think being able to run the GM wheel force sim on the cup rig, even though it's a cup car, it's like I said, it still laps. So um, I've found that to be most helpful because you're not really tweaking setups. You're just doing different grip levels and tires and air pressures and all this stuff. So you have one model where it's basically stickers every single lap and then it just resets, which you kind of feel like Superman on. And then you go to a dynamic tire that starts on stickers, low air pressures, and then it pressures build and tire wear happens. And then you can obviously adjust how extreme or quick that happens. So I think seeing what it does with all the grip in the world and then seeing it fade to zero grip basically is what it feels like. I think from a driving standpoint is obviously very, very beneficial.
And what are you doing with that information? Who is that being disseminated to? Like, who are you? Obviously, you're working for GM, but who is getting that information? Who's utilizing that information? Where is that going?
I think all the GM partners on the Cup side, all the Chevy teams, basically we're kind of like the lab rats, is the way somebody kind of called it. Like you try to get it to mimic the real life data as close as possible. So whenever these Cup guys come in to the sim, it is as realistic as possible for them. So, um, I know a lot of it is, different Chevy team setups, and then we'll sit there and there's like an iPad in there that you can look at the real time data from whatever race they were running. So yeah, I think just trying to get it as close to the real time data as possible is the main goal. So whenever the Cup guys jump in, it's not like it's not realistic.
That seems like a huge responsibility, especially for a guy who's a rookie. Like that, you got
Yeah.
to be proud of that. That's a huge deal.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's obviously fun, obviously, to work with all the guys, like I said, Zach Brown and, um,
And when
you
you
know,
say Zach Brown, is that like the same Zach Brown, like McLaren Zach Brown?
no, 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 no,
Okay.
not the Chevys.
There's a
And
whole
not
lot. There's
the
a
and
whole.
not the Zach Brown that you know either, country star. Not
No,
that
I
one
knew it
either.
wasn't that
There's
one,
another Zach
but
Brown
but
apparently.
we got lots of Zach Browns in cars here, so I didn't know. I didn't know if it was the same one who's, running the McLaren program who, Chevy did a deal with Kyle Larson. So
No, 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 not the McLaren guy. Um,
next, my guy's going to be jumping to F1, and
I don't know. I want to run the F1 sim at some point over there. I know it's kind of hard to get into. I don't know who to talk to, but I've like walked past it before and it looks,
just walk in and say anybody named Zach Brown that I can talk to. There's got to be. I mean,
yeah,
apparently that's the guy. So.
yeah. But no, I mean, it's like I said, it's fun. I think it helps everybody involved. Obviously, it helps me get more seat time and sim time at certain places. Obviously, it helps them with all their testing and data stuff. So I've kind of joked. I was like, well, maybe if Allgaier is busy on like vacation, maybe you need a driver for the
Drive the
real.
actual Yeah.
the real wheel force car, I'm always
Hell
the
yeah.
vote.
Well, listen,
But
all guys looking down that same Denny Hamlin path, like he's looking to ride off in the sunset sometime soon. So
yeah,
that seat's going to open up sooner or later. I mean, he apparently is on the exact same path, just going to rip through and win every race and march towards another championship.
yeah.
Um, so let's talk about goals real quick. So tell me some short-term goals you got going on for maybe this year, next year, and then let's talk some long-term goals.
Yeah, short term, obviously, as of right now, kind of with everything going on, San Diego and Sonoma are the only races that I really know about. I'm sure I'll hear more of what I'll do for the rest of the year, but obviously, my main priority is just these 2 weekends, run as best as I can. Um, we've had, I would say, consistent top 10 runs on road courses. Like last year at the Roval, finished second to Zilich. So I thought that was like a win for us. Um, I don't know. I mean, me personally, obviously, you want to go for a win. But, now with Brent killing it in every type of track, I know he's going to be the one to beat. Um, and then, like I said, everybody else has just they've closed that margin. So everyone's so much quicker than they used to be. Um, and it's just kind of made it more difficult for the road course guys to kind of stand out, I think. But I don't know. I think top five would be a realistic good day. Um, and then you can involve strategy and switching or flipping stages and all that stuff. But I think a top five for us and our small team would be a realistic good day. But like I said, obviously you want to obviously chase a win and go for a win. So if that can happen, that would be insane. I've always kind of joked with Kaylee. Um, it's like if and when I get a win, that is when I would like sob on TV. Screw the cameras.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
You
Don't
Well
see
sweat
deserved.
that.
yeah.
Emotion's a beautiful thing. You ain't gotta worry about that and turn in your man card. You're fine,
Oh,
bro.
yeah. No,
You're
I've always
fine.
joked with her. It's like, I would, I'm not
We'll
going
sob, we'll sob with you.
I was
We
gonna say, and she'd be right there with you, man, because
I,
I'm gonna tell you something else. We talked about your dad before, your sister. I've talked to her a good amount, being with Claire 28 and working with Sam. Nothing but love for you, man. Super proud of you. She really is.
that
And you know
girl
that. And you know that.
that
yeah.
girl walks around the track so such a ball of emotions every single Saturday. Especially like Daytona this year, knowing that you were going into that having to make the race on speed. I mean, literally, she was standing there with us, asking us, like, how many people does he have to beat? How many cars are left? She is so invested in you and what you're doing. And let me just say this about you, and I haven't got the pleasure to know your mom yet, but your dad, your sister, I mean, the most genuine family. I told your dad this the other day. You guys are just truly great, genuine people. What you see is what you get. You're just absolutely kind people, and like I truly appreciate that. Um, so thank you for that. So you're looking for that top five. You're looking for a win. We're looking for the tears, and obviously you eventually you want to make it to Cup, right? Is that the goal?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a win, not a if. Um, I think that once the team gets it figured out, once you guys get some stability under you, and I think the other thing that needs to, you've got to manage expectations, right? And also, don't be it's easy for me to sit here and say, hey, don't be worried, don't stress, about the fact that, you know, they put somebody else in your seat for 4 weeks. It's not my car. I'm not driving it. It's easy for me to say. Um, I would say the same thing to the team, not that they're asking me or Rick or Chris or anybody else is like, hey, you don't got to be in a rush to figure this out. Like nobody expects you to. Nobody is expecting you to be RCR or JGR or Junior Motorsports or Haas or any of those things. Actually, quite the opposite. Like, if we want to say, where should you be or where realistically could you be? Like, if you just start listing top tier teams, like let's just say, right now those JGR cars are super fast. I mean, I'm sorry, the Junior Motorsports cars are super fast, right? So
Mhm.
that's 5 cars every week that are insanely fast. That's half your top 10. And then you got the Hendrick car in there. And then you got the 2 RCR cars in there. You've got the JGR cars.
Are you ever going to mention our cars?
I'm getting there, Rick. You 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 have
Jesus Christ.
you have our 2 cars. Those are your 4 or 5 top tier 1 teams, as people know. That's 13 cars right there that you there should be no pressure on you to beat.
Yeah.
If you do, not that you can't beat them, absolutely you can, but when you're stacking things up realistically and you're working through this logically, like anybody who says you should be a top 10 car every week is probably not very realistic and haven't looked at the number of cars that are in this series and the the number of top tier teams. In my opinion, again, nobody's paying me for my opinion and nobody's listening to it either. But
Right.
um, but also like I understand there is somebody who's putting up lots of money to run these races. There's somebody who's funding this team. Um, but this is your first year doing it. When you come into this sport, you got to know the chances of coming in and being a top 10 team right out the gate are just not a realistic thing. That doesn't mean that you can't have success. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get there, but you got to build those things. And so I think that, that's the realistic focus. You guys, they have a great driver behind the wheel. I don't know the rest of the team, but I'm sure if they were smart enough to pick this guy, then there's got to be some good people behind the scenes. So I wish you guys a ton of luck, and I hope they will keep building a great team around you. Rick, Chris,
Yeah.
These last 10 minutes were brought to you by Dr. Phil Bearden. Thank you for being on his couch.
Jesus,
Thank you,
Just like
Dr.
a
Phil.
commercial break or something.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Phil.
he's always got to make a smart aleck comment.
You
Yeah.
were
No, I just like let's just be realistic, right?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with being realistic. I'm the most optimistic person in the world. You know this, Rick. But we can also be realistic about things, right?
we're being realistic.
Yeah.
I told you I'm booking Austin for goals of 2 top 10s coming up, right? San Diego, I want to see it. I'd love it. Sonoma, I'll be there. I want to see it. I'd love it. Listen, I'm not trashing anything. Nick Sanchez run 23rd at Pocono. I had to look it up. I think Austin Green could have run 23rd. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't run the
100%.
race team. I'm just leaving it at that. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on. But what I will say, and I tell Sam, 51% of your job is outside the race car, believe it or not. 51%. There's a reason Scott Mayer gave him that opportunity. There's a reason Peterson gave him that opportunity. And there's a reason, Austin, and it's who you are as a person, how you're taking this injection of Nick Sanchez into this program and into the race seat that you want to race every time. You're smart, right? You're playing it politically correct, and good for you. I'm telling you. It's as important outside of that race car as it is in it. Good job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And obviously, one thing that's always kind of stuck with me, that my mom, I guess both mom and dad have always kind of told me growing up, they've got however many decades in the sport. It's always like you never know who's watching. That's
Yep.
the big one.
That's
Very
fair.
true. Very true.
That's fair.
Whether you're just walking around in
Yeah.
town or whatever, you
Yes.
never know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's like I said, it's unfortunate, and I mean, I could sit here and not go to the race and pout and
Nope.
kick the door, all this stuff, or you can go and learn,
Yep.
and obviously, like from Pocono, I would say one of the takeaways that for me was listening to Channel 2 with Jody, my crew chief, and Trey Poole, my spotter. Because usually, I don't hear that in the car.
Right.
So
Right.
listening to Channel 2 and just kind of taking a step back and seeing how all the moving pieces, coming in for a pit stop, or it's like deciding a strategy, or even, you know, every driver explains what the car is doing in a different way. So now hearing it
Absolutely.
from the way Nick explains certain things, it's like, okay, you kind of pick up on those things. So I think now knowing that, because there's on Channel 1, there's a lot of, I don't want to say silence, but like if Jody and Trey are deciding something on Channel 2, it's all silent for me. So I don't know what's going on, and I'm
It's true.
heat of the moment, adrenaline's high, and things aren't going your way, you get flustered, blah blah blah. So now, kind of knowing that they're working things out, I don't need to really take control or stress over it because they're doing it for me.
Yeah.
That was really the bright side to it, and yeah, like I said, I mean, you can sit at home and pout, but that's not going to do you any good. So,
And it's not who Austin Green is. So good job.
nope, nope. But yeah, I mean, you're still at a racetrack, right? So, it's Dad's always kind of made the joke. It's like I'll have a bad day at a track, and I'm upset, and he's like, "Well, there's really no bad days at track or at a racetrack. You could be sitting at home, or you could be doing a
Yeah.
9 to 5, or
Yep.
grand scheme, it's really not that bad." So, obviously, very blessed for everything that Mr. Peterson and Three Dimensional done, and obviously my mom and dad and family, and um, as y'all know, it's relationship based. So, um, yeah, it's just little hurdle right now, but it's all God's timing, so it'll work out eventually.
Yes, it will. Austin, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being
Absolutely.
transparent with us. Thanks
Absolutely.
for sharing your story. And we wish you tons of success, and we can't wait to celebrate with you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Austin Green on Checkers Wreckers and What the Heckers.